What's good? What's good? I'm back. Yours truly, the one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett podcast. About to have a special guest on once again, comedian Byron Brooks. Before we do that, real quick, let's give you a word from one of our sponsors.
For music marketing and promotion? Then look no further than Promo Palace LLC, your one-stop shop for all music promotion services. Services include Spotify playlist pitching, YouTube video promotion, record pool promotion, blog placements, radio airplay promotion, SoundCloud promotion, and much more. With over 2,000 customers and over 10 years of experience in online promotion, Promo Palace LLC is a company you can trust. For more info, please go to promopalace.biz. See you there.
You heard the beautiful lady with the beautiful smile. Check us out, promopalace.biz, one-stop shop. But enough with that. We're going to bring in our special guest. See if we can get him in. Byron, what's good? What's good?
What's up, my man? How you doing?
Man, I'm loving this, man. I'm starting to get passionate about this podcast since I
Nice.
can't make it as rapping no more. You know.
Nice.
So, how'd that show go? You had this competition, and I heard you said you won it.
Yeah. We had what they call the biggest comedy club in the Maryland area. It's called Gooby's Comedy Club. It's basically where all the national headliners come to perform. It has what they call a new talent competition every year. They hold a competition every month for the big one at the end of the year in December. What you do is you win money. You also win a spot hosting for someone famous. And then if you win the yearly one, you win a regular spot where you can basically host or open up for people famous the entire year. So it's a good stepping stone for Baltimore comics in this area, or Maryland comics. And there was last Thursday, there was 10 contestants. I was one of them, and ended up winning.
So that's kind of like the rap competitions where they basically win an opening slot for like Rick Ross or Meek Mills, and they get the money as well. And that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you think there's enough comedy clubs in America, or we need more? I mean, do we even have one in Fayetteville?
No, that's funny because I was in Fayetteville about 2 months ago, and the first thing I did was I was looking for open mics or shows that I could get on while I was down here.
Yeah, they're really scarce right now.
Yeah, there's no comedy club. There's two places, one in Hope Mills and one in Fayetteville, that are holding what they call showcases. But I guess I had to try and booked a lot early. I next time I'll know. But I was just trying to get that, hey, I'm in town next weekend. Can I get on your show type thing? And it didn't quite work out, but it's very, very scarce, man. It seems like Raleigh for North Carolina, Raleigh is the place to see national headliners.
Shouldn't every city have a comedy club, in your opinion?
I feel like every city, at least every major city
every major city
should have a comedy club, a major comedy club.
And Fayetteville's big enough to be considered a major city, though, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. And there's a lot of talent down there too, man. I was going through their Facebook page where they, guys from Fayetteville who are comedians who are traveling all the way up to Virginia and Raleigh to do shows. And really talented people. So I know that there's people in Fayetteville who want to do comedy and who have been doing comedy. They've just been in their ass traveling through 2-3 hours to get on a show. Which I'm lucky. I'm here in the Baltimore area. I can have get on regular shows and not the most I'll travel is 30 minutes if it's not something special. But Yeah. There's a lot of talent in Fayetteville. I think Fayetteville needs a comedy club for real.
Now, are you as passionate about as comedy as you are music? Because me and you both started out as musicians, and we've seemed to found something else that is just as passionate, or I might even be more passionate in this podcasting now. So how are you with the comedy? Is it more passionate thing for you than music?
The passion, I would say, is about the same,
About the same?
but the with the comedy, I can see a future.
That's how I feel with the
Yeah,
podcasting.
yeah, I can see a future. I can see me doing this, 20 years
You can
down the
see
road.
this really panning
Yeah,
out and really getting paid off of something
yeah.
we tried to achieve before and we didn't really get paid off. And you probably made more money off of music than me because you had the band.
Probably not.
You had a band. The bands can always make more money, man.
We got paid beer mostly, you know what I mean? It was
Oh man, that's more than
yeah.
I got paid for shows. So you got me beat. You know,
Yeah.
um, comedy, man. I feel like comedy is really, really like at the forefront of fighting against like them trying to take away the freedom of speech that's going on right now. You think if comedy goes, it's all gonna go, it's all gonna crumble? Because that's what I think.
Yes,
I think
I'll agree.
comedy's like the last defense. Like, you know,
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna go. I see comedy changing, but I don't see it the way I guess other people are seeing it, like comedy's
mhm,
being attacked or anything like that. For sure, comedy and music right now and freedom of speech are probably your last line of defense.
yeah.
But I don't feel like comedy is getting attacked like the media and people on social media are saying it's being attacked.
Okay.
You
Now,
know,
what about hip hop though? Because I feel like I've been going on this rant. Like, I'm really upset at a cat like Nori
okay.
removing the Kanye interview because I think like a cat like Luther Campbell fought so hard, for this against the Supreme Court, so there could be this no censorship. Like he said, just throw a parental advisory sticker on it, or you just play it late night when the kids are asleep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And I think cats like Nori, Diddy, even Jordan Lucas, one of my favorite rappers, I just realized removed this music video he had called Ye's Not Crazy, which came out like probably
Mhm.
a few months ago.
Yeah.
And they're bending to the will and they're really like bending to the will, which makes them like puppets to me and cowards. And it's like it really opens up the ammunition for these people to go after censoring hip hop. And I think if they censor hip hop, it's not going to just start there. I mean, stop there. They're going to go into movies. And that's why I say comedy is the last, because everybody's supposed to be able to just laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You start just taking away our
Yeah.
ability to just laugh
Yeah.
and enjoy ourselves. What do we have left, man?
I said comedy is definitely one of those. Music still. Of course, we have some of these artists in music who are censoring themselves, and they're not realizing,
What
like
do
you
you mean
said,
by that? Explain that.
they're censoring themselves. Be just like you're saying, like Joyner Lucas, he's taking
He
certain
took it
music
down
off.
because of the
Yeah,
pressure he thinks he's going to get or he will get.
he's not going to get it, so he's censoring himself,
Censoring
basically.
himself. And you know what's
Yeah,
crazy about that?
yeah.
He actually got a video removed off
Hmm.
of YouTube because he did a video with TJ, before little TJ before he
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah,
killed.
yeah,
I mean, not killed, but shot.
yeah.
This was like probably a year before he got shot. But they were like rapping in front of some kids in the video, and
Hmm.
YouTube removed it. So that was another thing I got upset. I was like, hold up, you've been censored and now you're going to censor somebody? That's kind of hypocritical. And that's another
That's
thing that's upset. It's like a hypocritical stance for rappers, to they say the most degrading things on the planet.
yeah.
And you sitting there and you
I've
sitting
heard
there
rappers
apologizing
say,
like, I'm sorry for what he said. Well, what about what you've said?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, rappers have said way worse things, I think, than comics have ever said.
yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
But
Now let me
yeah,
ask you something. I saw your little battle. I noticed old boy trying to pull the race card, like the white dude. Do
yeah.
you ever like when they bring race into it, do you ever do you just take the hits and just like I'm gonna hit you back?
Yeah,
Cause he
that
said something
that's
like
all.
he called it like a black piece of shit or something, like I think he said. I'm like, what the is that? Is that comedy or is that just shit talking?
that was more just shit talking.
Shit talking. That's what I
And
thought.
he's a really good friend of mine, so I
I
know.
figured that too. Yeah, I
Yeah,
figured
yeah,
that
yeah,
too.
yeah. So it didn't hit me like it probably would have hit other people. But in that kind of situation, it's a roast.
It's a roast.
To me, you come with
Whatever.
whatever, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever you come with, and I'm gonna come back. You
And
know what I mean? So I don't take, I have no problem with
it's an
that.
invite. It's an
The
invite,
format,
basically.
it's
Yeah.
invite to be fucking nasty.
Now,
And I expect that to happen.
are
But
they still
that
doing roast heavy? Like on the mainstream scale, like the VH1 roasts? They've kind of
um
calmed those down, right?
they do them, but you don't see them on TV anymore.
Why do
You
you
have
think that is? You
they're
think it's
they're
sensitive times if they're trying to like, we can't.
they're trying to monetize everything. I don't think it
Oh, they're
hasn't.
trying to monetize everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're trying to get you that. They'll have these roasts now, but it's pay to watch. It's not going on Comedy Central
Okay,
and
it's paid.
watching
Yeah,
anymore.
okay.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
I could probably agree with that because, like, I'm a big fan of like, what's that dude, Jeff Ross?
Jeff Ross is the man. I
Yeah,
love
like
that
he's like the most. I mean,
dude.
like he comes so prepared. The David Hasselhoff, he comes out with his little skibbies with his dick pic jokes. Anybody want to hear dick jokes or something? Like
Yeah.
comedians, I mean, y'all gotta be well prepared. I noticed.
Well, and we do. It's all about preparation. Some people are better at. Some people like
Freestyling,
me, I have to prepare. Some people
yeah,
are they can come up with shit on the spot.
they're
I'm
just
not one.
freestylers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not one of those dudes. And I envy people who can do that. But I also notice that those people tend to get a little lazy when it comes to writing.
okay,
Kind of I compare it to like an athlete who's naturally gifted tends to not work as hard. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Shaquille
same
O'Neal,
thing.
like
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he was just so dominant, but Kobe's
Yeah.
like, just work out more,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I mean, he would have been even way more dominant. I mean, they would have probably won like
Exactly.
6 rings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Jay-Z, but they say Jay-Z, just like writes it in his head. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He never
Yeah.
writes it on paper or nothing. And I think that also takes away from probably a complex nature being added to it. It probably makes it more basic when you got to just do things like on the fly, freestyle, or just write in your head. Because I think if
Mhm.
you're really there, could really sit there in front of something, just think out something,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
just get more. Now, how do you really come up with your joke? Do you drink or smoke or do anything of that nature, or
Um
like some
as
musicians they
in
like
when
to smoke or whatever?
I mean I do drink and smoke, but to be honest with you, my writing process is I'll come up with an idea or I'll come up with a phrase that I think
Okay,
is funny. I'll
okay,
jot it down in my phone. I won't come up with the joke quite yet. I'll
okay,
sit on it. And I literally in my phone, I have a list of about 50 ideas or 50 phrases that I thought was funny. And then I go, I'm like, when I'm ready to actually sit down and write, I'll go down that list and anything funny that I think will go with that, I just start writing about it.
okay.
Yeah, it took a while to develop that because the longer I've been doing this, the easier it is to write jokes because I have a little bit more of a formula of doing it.
Uh huh.
But then also at the same time, the longer you've been doing it, you get inspired by different people, and then like your delivery changes a little bit, or the way you attack the punchline changes a little bit. So it's constant. It's a constant, ever never ending writing process. Like I have a joke that I've been saying for about 4 years now, and it's evolved. Like every couple months, I might add something to it, or I might
Okay.
tweak this part of it, or I might explain a little bit more, or
So
cut.
it's like a
Yeah.
recipe that it's good already, but you could just make it a little
Yes.
bit
A
better.
little bit better. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit better gradually at a time. And the funny thing is like sometimes once I was, well, no, I shouldn't say once, but I had a joke that I was saying, like, that was a one bit. And then I had a totally different joke that was another bit. And I was saying them at two different times in my set. And then I started to realize that these two jokes are similar. Let's put these jokes together, rewrite the
make it,
whole
yeah.
thing, make this one longer joke and put those jokes together. That happens all the time too, where I have, 2-3 different jokes and I'm like, I can make this into one joke. Like, and that just takes time and takes getting up in front of, speaking on the mic. The more you speak on the mic, the more you think about what you've said.
Now, how much of y'all's content creating, or you specifically, has to do with maybe the crazy things that go on in the world, like Jussie Smollett incidents, or just anything, or just Kanye, or because I notice like or Lizzo, whoever it may be, anybody that just does something outlandish or says something outlandish, how much of that is like, oh, I gotta
call
take
those
that and run with
topical
that.
jokes.
You call them what?
I call them topical jokes.
Topical jokes.
What I mean by that is those are jokes that you'll write them real fast. They're good for a month or two, and then they're you never use them again.
Once
Yeah,
it actually fades out the news and
fades
like
out.
Jussie
Yeah,
Smollett, nobody's talking about it no more. It's like, all right, move
yeah,
on to the next.
yeah. I really, honestly, I don't write too many of those jokes. If I do start to write a joke like that, I think to myself, how if I were to say this joke next year,
Yeah.
will it still be as funny?
I think I got another you call them what, topical jokes?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would call them like trending jokes.
Trending jokes, yeah. I have a
Trending
friend,
jokes too, because it seems like there's only, like you said, the only good while the topic is still hot.
it's
Like
still hot. So
once
yeah, I have
people
a
are done
friend,
talking about Kanye, it's like, oh, that's it. There's no more to joke about.
yeah. I have a comic friend. He's really good at that where he'll on the way to a gig, he'll actually go on the look on the news
And
and
grab
he'll be
something
like,
and just run with it.
boom. And then, that's the first 2 or 3 minutes of when he gets on stage. It's like, hey, what about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard? Blah, 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 blah. And
Yeah.
then literally the next week, do the same thing. What's trending today? Oh, okay, I'll say something funny about that. I try and stay away from those. I need to start work on that.
Why is that? Or is it
Like I
because they're
said,
controversial sometimes?
sometimes they're not funny.
Sometimes they're not funny. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes they're not funny, man.
Yeah.
When you come up with those type of jokes, like I said, they're written quick. They're written like the day before type thing, and they're
Yeah.
generally not taken to an open mic or anything like that. Those are generally jokes that are. I just came up with this. I'll try it at the show tomorrow, or I'll try it at the show tonight because it's current. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it works at the show, I might tweak it a little bit, but then it's not something I'm going to pay a lot of attention to because I know 6 months down the line I'm not going to use this joke. Yeah.
Now, are you big into like a lot of comedy movies too?
I was until movies started sucking.
So you agree with me? They're not really that funny no more.
Nope. I mean, a handful I might stumble upon because I do like watching movies. I watch movies with my wife all the time, and we'll just say, "Oh, this looks funny," So I still end up watching that trash.
Well, look,
But
I'm gonna try to be a comedian for a second. Tell me if I'm doing all right. But so I was watching the Bros. I seen the Bros commercial. They paid like $30 million in advertising, maybe 50 million. I could be wrong. I've seen it probably 50 million times. And it's a comedy. And every time I try to watch it, I felt like Patrice O'Neal when he was doing that segment, like where people were dying, like some white lady with 2 kids died. I'm trying to feel something. So let me try. Damn, I don't feel nothing. And that's how I felt. It was like I was trying to okay, find a part in this trailer where it was actually funny, and I was like, damn, this is supposed to be comedy, but it's not even funny. Like you're right.
know
Like
what?
what is going on with Hollywood and these movies?
I heard the other day, and it was on a podcast. I think it might have been fucking Andrew Schultz podcast, But
Love Andrew
somebody
Schultz.
was talking about who's the dude, Judd Apatow.
I'm not familiar with him.
He's the guy who was doing like Knocked Up and Superbad. And
Okay.
remember those movies with all the
Yeah.
Seth Rogen movies and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Somebody had this theory that he killed comedy because not his movies were so good that everybody else tried to do that format of comedy, and that's old school slapstick, funny joke, Caddyshack type comedy just disappeared.
So that kind of reminds me of like how
Yeah.
Steph Curry kind of ruined the NBA, where everybody just wants to shoot
Shoot
threes all
three
the time.
throws. Yeah.
They want to copy. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
copycat thing. And
Yeah.
that's not good. It takes away from any kind of originality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if everybody's trying to do, well, and I didn't really think Seth Rogen, that's the one with the curly hair, right?
Yeah.
He's pretty funny. He's pretty funny.
I mean, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying that those movies aren't funny. Those movies are hilarious. But yeah, it's a whole bunch of copycats now. That everybody who was like those good comedies that we love, they stopped doing that format of comedy.
Like, what's the last great good comedy? I mean, like, because when you look at a movie like Coming to America,
yeah, it's so good,
or like Trading Places. I mean, those were like great comedies, yo.
I tell you what, it might be just because I watched it yesterday, but I was like, let me watch one of my favorite comedies from back in the day, and I watched Grandma's Boy from Happy Madison production. It's the only
everything he does is, I mean,
yeah. And I was like, man, this is so good compared to the comedy that's out right now. Like, yeah, I would say good comedy stopped at about 2010.
I mean, because even Jim Carrey is not like
the same.
He was like the man, and then it was like now it's like Patrice O'Neal. You try to feel something, try to laugh, and like I don't feel a thing. Which that's another dude. Like comedy definitely died somewhat when Patrice O'Neal died. I mean, like I might agree with a lot of people that he could have been the greatest of all time. When I watch him, I mean, I have to have a roll of toilet paper. I mean, I'm in tears, snot at the nose, because that's the kind of comedy fan I am. I'm like, I can't go to like I don't think I could go to an actual comedy with like live, because I would need a shit ton of tissue, because I'll be laughing so hard and snot be coming out my nose, and I mean, I couldn't go to Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, or none of these cats. I would have to. I'm snot be running out the nose, man. It'd be so funny, probably. You know, do people actually do that at comedy shows? Would I be the only one doing that?
No, man.
I mean, because I laugh so hard at something, man. I mean, I'll be
and you know what? The comics love like that. Comics love that. They thrive off that.
That's how you know you really like.
Yeah.
You know you're doing your job.
Yeah, you know you're doing a job with something when people like, especially I love black crowds. They're harder to make laugh, but when they do laugh, they're like falling on the floor, man. And I love it. I love it. I mean, you can really feed off that. That's what comics look for. It's stuff to feed off on so they can continue to be funny through the set.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, guys who come out, snot running out of nose, halfway crying. Please, I love all those dudes to be in my room.
So you do crowds being more as heavy populated black communities and stuff. So you got crowds where it just be predominantly black, hardly no white faces in there.
Little bit of, be honest with you, a little bit of everything. Most of the crowds that I do are a mixture of people. But I've done all white crowds. I've done all Mexican crowds. I've done all black.
How hard are the Mexican crowds?
Probably my worst crowd, because like there's definitely a cultural difference from what they want to hear and what you're saying.
Yeah.
When you do jokes about family and things like that, they're listening. But a lot of the other stuff they really don't fucking care about.
So they
unless
like
it's
jokes about family and stuff, like
oh yeah. I mean,
Mexicans,
well, you got to
and they're
think
big family orientated
they're
people.
they're they're family orientated people. So you have jokes about your son or what you did with the family and things like
Yeah.
that. They're all
So they're
ears with
really just
yeah.
all about family.
Yeah. They're all ears about
That's
that.
yeah, that's
But
interesting.
most like all Mexican room, which I've only done one time, they really want to hear cultural shit. They want to hear Mexican shit.
That's what I'm
They want a
thinking. Yeah.
Mexican comic talking about Mexican shit. You
And
know what I
nobody's
mean?
really catering to that too much, are they?
Not at the local scene.
Not in the
At
local
the bigger
scenes,
scene, yes.
bigger scenes.
Um,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. But it's as a comic, it was one of those shows. You a promoter's like, hey, I have a paying gig, and then you show up, and it's like, oh, like okay, this is what I'm dealing with tonight. All
And
right.
I would think as a comic, you would want to be as diverse as possible. White jokes, black jokes, Hispanic jokes, Asian jokes.
um, I've always been in the state of mind is I want to be funny to the point where everybody laughs. I don't
Yeah.
want to be the guy who's only funny in front of black people or a guy who's only
Okay.
funny in front of white people. I'm just, and there are people like that. I mean, I see it all the time in Baltimore comedy where you'll have a comic who crushes in front of white Aussie audiences, but in front of black audiences, they don't. And same thing, like I've seen people who crush in front of black audiences, but in front of white audiences, they just, they don't get the same snap.
How well do you think a cat like Larry the Cable Guy would do in front of an all black audience?
I think he'd do good because he's been doing comedy for
I
damn near
do
30
too. I do
years.
too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's just
Yeah.
it's like a redneck comedy,
Yeah.
but that's I mean like, and that's another thing. Do you feel like comics need to have any kind of image or gimmick?
That I really can't answer, man.
I mean, because every musician has to have an image or a gimmick, I would say. As much as they be like no gimmicks, they all have a gimmick. There's a gimmick. You can find
I
it.
would say when it comes to comedy, it's really no rules, man. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't have any gimmicks who are doing really, really, really well, and then there are some people who do have gimmicks who are
And
doing really,
image
really,
really
really
don't
well.
have nothing to do with it, right? It's just you got to
Nah,
be.
when it comes to
It's just all
comedy,
about being funny, right?
it's all about being funny.
And
Like you don't,
that's what's so beautiful about comedy. Like the
yeah,
music
because
business, it's not just about, oh, do you make good music or great music? It's also about, are you doing antics and controversial, or how weird do you look, or whatever it may be. It's got
and
to be all these other things too.
even when it comes to this is what I love about comedy too. Even when it comes to appearance, like even in the music industry, you're looking at, hey, I need to wear this, or hey, I need to lose weight, or hey,
Yeah,
I need to
yeah.
comedy, you just gotta be
There's no
funny. You could
boundaries.
be
It's like,
ugly, you could be
yeah,
fat. That might even work to your advantage. You know what
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what
Like, what's
race
the
you
heavy
are.
set Hispanic cat?
Gabe, is it Gabriel? Yeah, Gabriel
Yes, Gabriel
Iglesias.
something.
Yeah,
Because I know he
yep.
was just saying something about Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle got kicked out of their seats at a fight for little baby and Travis
Yeah.
Scott. Like, them dudes have more impact over the world than Joe Rogan
Oh
and
yeah,
Dave Chappelle. I mean, they only
that's
got
crazy.
impact in one realm of the world. Like Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan reaching like so much further. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
Now,
that
what do
was
you think
weird.
about their relationship? Do you think that's really a comedy thing?
No, I think they're really friends, man.
They're really friends?
Yeah, I think they're really friends. They're two people who are at the top of their game. Um, they're just as famous as each other. They have a lot in common. Um, so I just think they're
They
generous.
do.
I
They do
think,
have a
of
lot in
course,
common.
it's for the money, but I think that they do comedy together because they like being around each other. You know,
I
that's
was
generally, to be honest with you, that's generally how comedy works. It's like you don't if you're going to do a show with somebody, you don't want to do a show with somebody that you're just like, hey, I kind of know this dude.
yeah.
He's cool. You want to do shows with your boys. You know what I mean? You want to do shows with your friends.
Now, Another thing I noticed, like in the music business, a big part of artists making it is booking the venue yourself. How often are comedians doing that? Like up and coming
Um,
comedians just book the venue themselves and try to pack it in.
yes, a lot. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, moderately, but generally smaller venues. Every once in a while, you'll hear of somebody doing that in a comedy club or something like that. Um, but it's few and far
So it's
between. I
not
don't
really a
see it too
big thing
often.
like you would have to in the music business, because in the music business, it's like you either get booked for shows or you just book the venue yourself and try to pack it in. And I
Mhm.
always wondered why didn't so comedians are just always relying on the comedy promoters as much as possible.
W- Up until a certain point. Um, as a local comedian, yes, you're relying on promoters
Yeah,
almost exclusively. As you become more of a national headliner, you got to be able to promise and start like headlining comedy clubs, headlining theaters, things like that.
yeah.
You got to promise,
Get down.
you got to be able to promise the promoter certain number of seats, people in those seats.
Something
And if
that
and if
musicians just don't do.
no, no.
Yeah.
And if you don't meet that quota, you pay the promoter. Like that's
Ooh.
money. Yeah, that's money coming out of your pocket. So
It,
yeah, so you got to be
wow.
yeah, you got to know
You got to know it. You can't be
yeah,
delusional like
you
rappers thinking you started rapping last week and
you cannot be
I should get
delusional.
paid for
Yeah.
a show because they think
No.
they're gonna pack in 100 people and don't even got 2 fans. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now, I'm not going to say there isn't a lot of comedians who have that mentality. Like,
yeah,
I should, I've been doing this 2 years. I should be opening for Dave Chappelle and all that type of stuff. But there's no way of that ever happening
it seems
because
like comedy promoters are not willing to take the risks that
no,
music
no,
promoters
no,
are,
mm-mm. No.
and that
Comedy
seems like a
promoters
very
are
smart.
zero
Yeah,
risk guy.
it
Yeah.
seems like a very smart, logical way of thinking compared to the music business. Because music business, you see it all the time, man. Even in Fayetteville, they book all these artists, and none of them can sell out. You
Hmm.
know, they can't sell out. You could bring 2 Chainz and 10 other 2 Chainz, and you can't sell out the Coliseum. But you bring one J Cole, and it's
Yeah.
bananas.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. So what, like, what's your goals of are you trying to just be like a stand-up comic, or are you actually trying to take it maybe in the realms of TV and film too?
Um, I really just want to be a stand-up comic, and
Just a stand-up?
I want to be, as big a stand-up comic I can be. I'm
Yeah.
not saying I want to be like Dave Chappelle or anything like that, but I would like to be a touring headliner, somebody that goes from comedy club headlining, able to put 200 people in the seats. Um, that's my goal. Anything after that, that's just icing on the cake. You know what I
And
mean?
what do y'all normally charge for a comedy show?
It depends, man. It all depends. It just depends on the venue. It depends on how many people they expect to be there. A
Like twenty
local,
dollars a ticket? Is that too much to be asking, or is that a
nah,
little low?
for a,
So like 200
for
people
a
at twenty
comedy
dollars a
club,
ticket is decent.
that's low.
That's low.
For just a local show at a bar or a
Yeah,
brewery or something like that, $15-$20 is the general going rate. Sometimes
yeah.
even $10. The one I'm doing tomorrow, I think, is $5 to get in. You know what I mean? So it's all over the place. Like I had a show last night, and I did it for free because it's my boy just opened his it's called the Port Comedy Club in Baltimore. It's a small little BYOB comedy club that looks like it holds about 50, 60
Oh, so
people.
it's like a swinger club.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bring your
Yeah.
own beer.
Yeah. But I did that show for free. Like I was thinking to myself, like last week I did comedy at a comedy club for 150 people. And this Monday I did um did comedy for like 20 people for free. You know what I mean?
Now, when you do that, is
That's
it
how
just
it
about
is.
sharpening your skills?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
anytime I can get up on stage, that's me leveling up.
yeah.
Even, whether I bomb, whether I do good, it makes me think of my set and it makes me think of what do I need to do to make that better. Um, and then the time when I'm not thinking that, I'm thinking, okay, what's a good new joke? What's the new premise I can make funny or something like that? It's like I said, it's a never ending process. You got to think comics. Um, comics get practice 5 minutes at a time. So it's not a lot of time that we actually get in front of people. So in order for us to get better, we have to, some
You
people
gotta
might
do
not
the
believe.
freebies. You gotta do the
Yeah, you got to
freebies
do
too.
these freebies and get in front of a mic as much as you can. I do not turn down shows. I'm just that's just not. Only reason I'll turn down a show is if I'm double booked or a family. I have something I have to do with my family or something like that. But if you say, "Hey, I have a show," it's 20 minutes away, but I can't pay you. I'm gonna show up just for the time, just for the reps, man. You know,
Especially if you don't have nothing else going on. I
yes,
mean,
exactly. It's
yeah.
now if it's this I have a show in Virginia that's 2 hours away and I'm not going to pay you. I'm going to be like, I'll pass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
at
gotta at least
least
give me gas or something,
exactly. At
right?
least give at
Yeah.
least give me gas money. You know what I mean? But that's the way I don't turn down. I really don't turn down
Now,
gigs.
do most comedians think like you? You think we're doing the freebies? Because musicians, they're just. I mean, you can
Mm,
start rapping last week and they think they should get paid already.
I would say 80% of the local comedy community, yes, they think like I do. The other 20% are
They're
generally,
just egotistical.
and they're,
Yeah,
to be honest with you, they're most of
not
them
that good. Yeah.
are they're unfunny. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah, they just aren't that good. You know what I mean? But they have this delusion. You know what I mean? And I no, everybody wants to be nice, but sometimes I feel like some of these comedians, when they say, "Oh, I'm not getting this," and this person's getting this, the answer is, dude, you're not funny. or you're not likable. Like that goes a long way too. You might be funny as hell. You might be the funniest person in Baltimore, but you're just a shitty person. You know what I mean? And people will not book you if you're a shitty person, you know?
Like, what do you mean shitty? Like just the way they do business and stuff, and the way they
I
act
mean,
towards
just the
business,
way they carry themselves, always
like
like you have
entitled or something.
entitled, always attacking, like verbally attacking other comedians, moving like starting, like, really honestly a lot of it is starting shit on the internet, like starting shit on Facebook with other comedians, talking behind people's back, things like that. That shit comes back to bite you in the ass in the comedy, like, because I know a lot of talented funny dudes who aren't getting booked right now because motherfuckers just want to punch them in the face, you know. Like, they're just not fun to be around.
So they're just shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, let me ask you something. Like, rappers make it big, and normally they're usually signing other rappers. Is that common in the comedy world for comedians to sign other comedians?
um well, in the words of Sign, there isn't like
It's more like put them
there
on,
isn't
like
like
help put
death
them
row.
on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Bad boy comedy, death row comedy. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But a lot of getting higher in the comedy field is people bringing them with you. Like,
yeah.
that's really 90% of how you get more known in comedy is you become friends with somebody who's doing better than you. They
And
put
you
you on the
open up for
show.
them.
You start opening up for them. Their
So
fans become your fans. And then you do the same thing for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, I get, like, I'm doing my first headlining show in front of over 100 people in January. First thing I thought of
nice.
was the people that are my friends and that I love in comedy. they're opening
Who?
for
Yeah,
me.
they coming with me. Yeah,
Rose is one of my best friends. She's going to feature for me. You
yeah.
know, one of my other dudes who's coming up, he's going to guest spot for me. You know what I mean? So that's what it's about, really, in comedy. Like, I guarantee you, Dave Chappelle, when he was starting out, had somebody who was who was
Bigger than
bigger than
him that he
him.
was opening up for.
That somebody was like, "Hey, bro, you know, come open up for me. Come do a couple of shows with me." You know what I mean?
So
I see
it's
something in you.
it's really like the music business. Like to break a
Yeah,
comedian is like breaking an artist, but it just seems like y'all got the mentality of okay, even when we're not getting paid, we still need to work on our performance. Like rappers and music singers are like they're not trying to work on their performance if they're not getting paid, and that's
yep,
like really I hate it. I hate that
yep,
mentality, man.
yep. I when I was doing music, that was the same thing. It was like we have our songs, um, but if we aren't gigging, we aren't practicing. Like what that makes no sense. Like
Yeah,
every time you pick up an instrument or every time you pick up a microphone, you're getting better. So
yeah. I
why
mean,
wouldn't you want to sharpen your skills? And another thing is with I think the comedy with comedy, the reason it's like that is because you'll go to a show and there'll be 5, 6 people on a show, right? And you might know half of them, and you may not know you'll know two of them, and you don't know three of them. And then you'll be sitting there listening to their sets, and then you're like, "Fuck, this dude got better since the last time I heard him," or "I've never heard this dude. This dude's a monster.
yeah,
Like I need to get like that."
yeah,
Like I think that's the number one motivator when it comes to comedy and why we have that. We have to sit there and watch people murder on the same show as us. So then we're thinking, shit, what do I do to murder like this guy? I
yeah,
want to I want to do what that guy did.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So you go do your set, and then when you leave, you're thinking, when's the next time I can get on a mic? Because I need to try out this delivery now. I need to try it out this way. I need to try this
Yeah.
new idea that I have out. Musicians just aren't like that.
Yeah,
I don't
cause
understand
I don't get
it.
it either. You look at every entertainment field. Look at
Yeah,
athletes. They got to shoot jump shots to get better at the jump shots. They got to work on a post game to get better. Actors go through a crazy grind. I don't even got to. They get so much experience by the time they make it. It doesn't
yeah,
even matter.
yeah,
And
yep.
then comedians over here just like you said, they're just yeah, you're not getting paid, but you
It's
still trying to make it. You still trying to grind. You still trying to get the name out there. But musicians like,
I
no, I
think
can't grind unless I'm getting paid. And it's
when it
like
comes to, I think the
it's so
grind,
weak.
but the grind that is more in that sense,
Yeah.
comics are more in line with actors,
Actors. Yeah.
because I think we're getting inspired in real time all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing my buddy go up here murder. I have to
Yeah.
get to that level. Actor, same thing. Yeah, I'm on set with another person, and here comes Robert De Niro, and
Oh
then
yeah,
you're
yeah. You
you're
gotta
sitting
step it up.
across
You
from
gotta
Robert
step
De
it up.
Niro, and you're like, shit, I got to step it up. You know what I mean? I don't think musicians see that.
They don't see that.
They don't see that. They don't have that real, like, musicians are, I'm inspired by Jay-Z's album that dropped 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you'll never hear them say, "Oh, I was on a show with this other band, the
And
band
they
before,
inspired me.
and
Yeah.
they inspired me." You never hear that from a
And
musician.
you're right, because up and coming musicians never support up and coming musicians like that.
Nope.
It's always about me, 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 me,
Me,
me,
me,
me,
me, me,
me.
me. Yep.
But it seems like comedians understand that, and that's the thing. If
We're
musicians
getting
actually
humbled.
teamed up together, they would, make it better because they could all kick in and rent the venues together. If this cat got 50 fans and he got 50 and he got 50 and he got 50, let's rent the venue together. Let's pack in $200. Let's split the money, try to sell as much merch as we can,
Mhm.
but they don't do that. And comedians, they're more aligned with actors,
Yeah. Yeah.
they
We're
got to grind like on their stand up is their Broadway. You might have to do Broadway stand up 3 to 5 years, and then you finally make it. But damn, if you're getting, look at Dave Chappelle. What's he getting? Probably $1 million a show.
A ton of money.
So what if he had to go? Even if he had to do 10 years of stand up to get where he's at, it was all worth it in the long run.
Look, and to be honest with you, you don't even in comedy, like you don't even really have to be to Dave Chappelle's level to make a lot of money. That dude Ali Sadiq, you heard of him? Out of Houston, Texas. I had a conversation with him, and he says just in Houston in the comedy clubs, he makes about $100,000 a month.
Texas is different though. Texas is like the number one independent spot for even independent musicians are making more in Texas. That's the thing. Texas is so big. There's so many big cities. You got Austin, Texas is like venue after venue after venue after venue after venue.
But he was like, that's not even me like leaving the state. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm not even that big of a comic, but he was like, once you get to a level,
but he's big in his area.
The money is going. He was like, the money is going to come. It's going to come. Just got to make sure you pay them taxes.
Now, do you feel like your market is a good enough market? Be more.
I was just having this conversation with Monica. I think Be More is an unrecognized comedy city. And I think it needs to be, because there's a whole bunch of talent here and there's a whole bunch of good guys who come through here. Yeah. And I think we just need a little bit of a boost to let people know that, hey, there's good comedy in the city. And we could be just as big as in LA or in New York or Austin but I don't know what it's going to take for that nudge to be recognized like that.
Is there any big comics out of Be More?
Yes, and I think that's one of the problems. There's a ton of big comics that come out of Be More that fucking never talk about fucking Be More.
That's the same thing with North Carolina. That's the same thing with North Carolina. Like, you got Luther Vandross and all types of cats. Jermaine Dupri was born in North Carolina, but he claimed in Atlanta.
And they don't even talk about it. You know what I mean? There is about 3 top comics right now who are from Baltimore, like started their comedy career in Baltimore. Don't say shit about Baltimore. Don't say nothing, man.
Yeah, I mean, at least J. Cole, J. Cole blew up in New York, and at least he's still like, Vietnam, Forest Hills. He's still, to the skies. I mean, he's going to the rooftop and shouting to the skies, Vietnam, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we had another Vietnam artist recently, but he's kind of like fizzling out and whatnot. And, Fayetteville cats are just sitting back waiting for it's like they sitting back waiting for J. Cole to sign them or something and not getting out here and just working, man.
Yep. But I think Baltimore, man, something needs to happen so we get recognized because there's so much talent. There's so much talent who are leaving. You know what I mean? They're leaving Baltimore to do comedy, and I've seen a lot of people going over to Austin. I've seen a lot of people go to New York and things like that, and they're like, it's no difference. Like,
it's no difference. It sounds
really
like it. It sounds like it.
They're like, the only difference is you'll see more big names
over there. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, I'm not getting any shows with them or, things like that. So it's kind of like, I feel like with the internet too, we can probably, I don't know, man. We need to do something here in Baltimore.
I think Be More might get a bad rep though. Cause like, think about it. Be More has 2 TV shows, big TV shows I've seen. The Wire is about Be More.
Yeah.
Then they had that another one come out.
The new one that came out last year.
What, the cop one with the dirty cops?
What was I know what you're talking about. We Run This Town.
We Run This Town.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of the people from Wire on that show, and a lot of Be More actors were in Wire and that show. And I think B More definitely gets overlooked and underrated as a city. And it probably gets a bad rep. They act like
One
B-More
hundred
is just
percent.
some shoot 'em up, bang bang city, you know.
Hey, look, there's people in outside of Baltimore County who won't come into the city because they think that
They think it's
it's
like
the Wild West.
they
And
think
it's
it's
like
Chicago.
they're 20 miles away. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
won't fucking come in there. It's a great city, man. The what
yeah,
you're seeing on those shows like The Wire is a small part of the city, a
small part.
small
Yeah,
segregated part of the city. You
yeah,
have Baltimore Ravens. There's the rich part where the Baltimore Ravens live. There's Orioles players that live here. There's doctors and lawyers, and you got the bay where you can go chill and off the water and
yep.
have a good time. I mean, 80% of Baltimore is a beautiful, beautiful place. Like, so yeah, I think you're right. I think we do get a bad rap to
And it's
where it's
probably
like
got a lot of history that gets overlooked. Cause
ton of history.
Pee Wee Matthews from Durham, North Carolina, Frank Matthews actually moved to Baltimore and took over
Hmm.
all of Baltimore, they said.
Yep.
And whatnot at one point. And he was like
Hmm.
the biggest dope dealer on the East Coast at one time. He had a connection with the French Connect. And but
Hmm.
yeah, like Baltimore was his stomping grounds, man. He was a Durham cat, you know?
Yep.
And they've had a lot of big historical street people I know, you know what
Oh
I'm
yeah, for
saying? A
sure.
lot of big historical street people go
I
through
mean, we
and
had
whatnot.
Tupac. Tupac.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, they've had the Orioles forever. I mean,
Yeah.
it ain't like they ain't had big, franchise sports teams, and but I
It's
think it
just
just
that
gets overlooked, man.
every time somebody wants to report on Baltimore, it's the negative stuff, and there's so much
Yeah.
positive. There's so much positive. It's a good city. It's not what people
Do
are
you think
portraying
it
to
New
be.
York just kind of overlooks both? Like New York overlooks like Jersey and Baltimore and
I think
whatnot,
so. I think so. I just
because
and the
they're
funny thing,
almost both like New York and Jersey. Jersey and Baltimore is kind of like New York to me. It kind of really
Jersey,
is.
it's like a tiny New York. Because I was just
Yeah,
funny
yeah,
thing is
yeah. Tiny New
I was
York.
just in New York this weekend, and I was saying Baltimore is like
The
a
mentality
tiny.
is way more up north than it is down south. I know that much.
Yeah. I would say so, and I would say it's more violent in New York than it is in Baltimore. You know
I
what I
would say
mean?
so too. Yeah.
Um, I had a comedian friend who just got mugged like 2 weeks ago, and is now saying he's going to move back down here to Baltimore. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, there's a lot of that going on, moving out of New York and moving out of
yeah,
California.
yep,
And they just and that's just simply because they took that stance of like, let's, you know, not punish criminals, violent criminals. Let's just slap them on
slap
the
him on the
wrist,
wrist and let him go. Yeah,
and let them go, and that starting to backfire on all of them because now they all sitting there begging for police help, and all these defund the police people are begging for police help now, and it's like, no, you don't get to beg for police help now. You said you didn't want these motherfuckers help,
yep.
and the thing that pisses me off about these stances is Democrats are like, oh, we're all for black people, right?
Hmm.
But they know good as well. It don't take a rocket scientist to figure out when you say defund the police, this shit ain't affecting no white neighborhoods. It's affecting the Bonnie Doones of the
Yep.
world, the Massey Hills,
West side of Baltimore.
the west
Yep.
side of Baltimore, the South Bronx, rough parts of Brooklyn, whatever. It doesn't affect the predominantly white neighborhoods, and that's what pisses me off about this shit. It's like, damn, y'all be like, oh, we're pro this, but you're not really.
It's a fun thing to say, but when you actually, like you said, when you actually think about it, it's dumb. Like defund the police is stupid.
Yeah,
The only people that are going to suffer are the people in the poor neighborhoods, And if you really want to make change in the police force, it's through education, and education ain't fucking free.
What kind of education are you referring to?
I think, to me, police need to be just retrained. I mean, it takes money to
That's one
retrain.
big thing.
You
I
know what I
know
mean?
this incentive thing got to go. Like they're incentivized to
It's
get
yep,
so
that's got to
many.
go.
Like they just need to pay them outright and no incentives, so they are not incentivized to pull over. Because you know how it be. You got the donut
Mhm.
eating cops drinking coffee and donuts all month, and then the last week they got to meet their quota, and they just start pulling
And
everybody
and
that
I'll
they
say
can
this.
just to meet the quota.
I'll say this. I've said it 1,000 times. Um, we'll get on the other thing that I do. I was a mixed martial artist.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I
Yeah, yeah,
trained
yeah,
fighters and things like that.
yeah. I forgot.
So
Yeah.
as a person who teaches self-defense, and actually I have worked with and trained police officers, I see why they're shooting motherfuckers.
They're not
Because they
trained
can't,
that good.
they're
Yeah.
not trained that good. I'm like, police officers who have been on the force for a while will come into my school, the school that I train in, and I want to learn jujitsu. I want to learn how to do this. And the first couple of weeks I roll with them, and it's like, you're supposed to be able to arrest somebody. Like, honestly, dude, like some of these guys, like if I was a shitty person and I knew what I knew, I still knew what I knew now, I can guarantee you 50% of the police force, I could probably take their handcuffs from them and arrest them and actually put them in cuffs.
Damn.
Like, for
And
like,
that's not good.
if like one cop tried to take me down, like to arrest me, and there wasn't any guns involved, it would be bad for them.
And they would shit their britches if you did
They would
that. That's
shit
why
their
it's not good.
britches.
They would shit their britches. Do you think they need to be more like Navy SEAL trained, but without the water?
I think so. I think they need to be trained. This is something
Does it
I've
need to be the Navy SEAL extreme? Where like, because I
no,
seen
I
this
don't think it
video.
needs to be the Navy. I think it needs to be consistent training.
Now, did you see the video? Okay, there was a video I seen where it was a shooting going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, okay, it was cops rolled up on this black dude. They knew he had guns in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to get him to comply, and he goes back in the house, and he goes against the guns, and he comes back out and starts shooting.
Yeah.
And you got cops, they're all like, oh, we're cornered, we're pinned, we can't move.
Mm-hmm.
This one cop pulls up, and I was watching on Officer Tatum. I don't know if you know Brandon Tatum.
Oh, the dude with the single shot guy that
Yeah,
shot
and he
from
pulls up and
two
he puts
blocks
his
away.
coffee down. Yeah,
Yeah.
because so Brandon Tatum makes he's a former cop, so he makes a point of like, you see how calm this guy is. He's
Mm-hmm.
drinking his latte. He
He's
pulls
trained.
up and he puts his latte down. He
He's
gets
done that
out
1,000 times.
calmly. I mean, no, like you see these dudes, they get shot at and they're like, oh. He gets out calmly. He goes to the back of the car. He pops the trunk, unzips the thing, comes around one time, and there's this guy. You see the guy behind him, behind his car, hiding like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he
And he
just like,
takes one shot.
pow,
Wow. Done.
defender down. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is what we need more of.
That's
Cats that
exactly
don't
what
shit
we
their
need
fucking
more of.
pants.
That is, my dad's special forces, and well, he was retired
My
special forces.
stepdad was. My stepdad
I
was.
showed him that clip. He said
Yeah.
that's a guy who was either
In the
prior to
military.
him being in the force, he was in the military, or that's a guy who consistently practices. And that's what is missing in the police force.
Yeah.
Consistent practice.
Practice.
You go through the police academy, you're trained in a little bit of hand-to-hand combat.
Little bit of bullshit, yeah.
A little bit of fire, guns, and you get tested on that. They put you out on the street. There's no mandate that says, hey, every other Tuesday you need to show up at the range and shoot.
Yeah.
Twice a month you need to go over your
don't eat so many fucking Dunkin' Donuts in your car, or so many as much as I love Krispy Kreme, don't eat a fucking dozen Krispy Kreme fucking chocolate eclairs with fucking.
So these good cops who are actually at jiu-jitsu academies learning, who are actually at the range, on a regular basis, make sure their skills are sharp. They're doing that on their own. They're
Oh
not
yeah,
being told
they're
to do
taking
that.
initiative
They're
to be
taking
on top of their
initiative.
job. Yeah,
That should be required.
yeah.
Like
So
that, everybody should be doing that, and it should be enforced.
what's that saying? They send the roosters to crow or something.
Send a rooster to a hen house
Or something. But that's what it's
yeah,
like. That's what they're doing to these cops. Then they just like sending them out there like not prepared.
not prepared.
Sending sheeps to slaughter. They're sending sheeps to the
Mm-hmm.
slaughter, basically. Lambs
Yep.
to the slaughter. So we need more. You think ex-military cops?
No, I think just more
They just need to be
required
trained more
training.
like the military.
Yeah, they just need more required training.
And they need to not get
That's
so
like
complacent.
that's like me doing a bunch of open mics, never doing comedy in front of anybody. Just me doing comedy in front of some stuffed animals in the basement, right? I've been doing it for a couple months, and then all of a sudden putting me out in front of 200 people. That's
like
what it's like to me.
Yeah.
Like you
That's like
come out
my
of the police
analogy I
academy,
use.
they teach you the basics, and then it's like, all right, go out there and serve and protect. But you don't have to. If you don't want to, you don't have to practice your gun skills, and you don't have to do all this stuff. And then they go out here, and then someone pulls a gun on them. What do you expect them to do? They're
They
gonna
shit.
panic and just
Yeah,
shoot.
they're shitting Jello. They're shitting chocolate Jello pudding in their pants.
First thing they're gonna reach for is their gun, because that's
Yeah,
all
they're
that's all they
panicking.
know.
Yeah,
They panicking. You know.
that's crazy. I mean, yeah, but do you think though, like, we also need to get rid, like, they do need to legalize marijuana quicker,
Federally, yes.
sooner
Yeah.
than later, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes, they
another
do.
problem, right? So we don't have cops like, oh, what's that smell? And now they want to, you know, pull
Yeah.
everybody over,
For
lock up
no
a whole
stupid
car full
reason.
of
Yeah.
people just for smoking a blunt,
Nope.
and whatnot.
But
Yeah.
I see a lot of the states are becoming legal now. Like the funny thing is I've been doing comedy in other states recently, and every state I've been going to, it's legal recreationally, except for my fucking state.
Yes. North
Yeah,
Carolina is going to be the last. You know that.
Maryland it's legal. We have medical marijuana. We don't have
Medicinal. Yeah.
medicinal. Yeah, but I was just in New York, medicinal. New Jersey, medicinal. Virginia, medicinal.
But New York really don't care. When I was in New York for the first time,
They
they
don't
were
care.
smoking in front of the cops, yo.
Yeah, they don't
Because
care.
the cops know, like, that's a waste of their time,
Well,
anyways,
it's
man.
legal in New York right now.
Oh, it is. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
if it
yeah.
was legal when I went there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's
This was
totally
during
100%
Harlem Week,
legal.
like some years ago.
New
But
Jersey, the same thing. Yep,
yeah.
totally legal. Yep.
Everybody need to get with the program on that. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing that really upset me with like people taking their Brittany Griner stance. Like, dude, it's still not totally legal here. She flew out of the United States into another country and maybe into another country and then into Russia. That's at least 3 countries laws
Yeah.
she broke. And Japan and Russia are already like 5 to 10 years for marijuana, man. Why would you even
Why would you
test the
risk it?
limits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I honestly like, if I knew, oh, shit. Now, if I know I'm going out of the country, I'm checking my bags. Like, I'm thoroughly checking my bags to make sure I don't have
Yeah.
nothing that's gonna get me
And
arrested.
you can't use the excuse your wife packed it, man. That's
Yeah,
not
you
gonna
can't.
work.
There's
Nobody
no
wants to hear
excuses.
that.
No, there's no excuses. Like you get caught, you're done, man. It's,
Yeah.
you hear stuff about other countries. All the last place you want to be in jail is in a jail in another country. That's not your home country.
No.
That is the last place you want to be. So why even take the chance? That was. I honestly think she knew she had it in her bag, and she thought that she was, Miss. I'm a hero to their country. They're letting me in here. I'm playing
Yeah, they're
basketball for
paying
them.
me $1 million. Yeah.
Yeah, they ain't gonna check my bags. You know what I mean? And nope, you're an
I
American.
honestly think she got away with it before and figured,
I can do it again.
yeah.
Yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
because I remember one time, man, I was with a friend on a casino boat, right? and he rolled up some weed in like a Black and Mild, and we smoked that shit on Casino Boat in the middle of the ocean, and I was paranoid and nervous as a motherfucker, right? So then we go up on top of the Casino Boat, and they got one of these old Coca Cabana singers with some old cheesy Coca Cabana shirt on, and in front of keyboard, and we laughing at him, and it wasn't enough for my friend that we got free liquor, so he decides, oh, let's try to roll up another one, but on the boat. Let's try to roll on, and we almost get caught. And we talk our way out, and I'm like, yo, man, fuck that damn blunt, man. Because we would have got arrested in the middle of the ocean, took back handcuffed. Ain't no telling what they would have charged us with, man, because we were in the international waters when we did that shit,
point.
you know? Because we had to go out there in international waters to gamble on the Casino Boat. I'm like, there's no telling what they would have did to us just because you can't settle with the free freaking liquor we got. He was an alcoholic anyways, you know. So yeah, it's not even worth it. You're talking about Russia, a communist country, man.
It's not worth it.
These people already sit there and try to control what you think and what you say, and now you want me to risk trying to bring in a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm going to risk it, what they say, no biscuit.
Yeah.
No risk no biscuit. I'm going for I'm bringing in pounds. I mean, she literally got locked up for like the littlest bit of weed, man, and they don't care.
Got 10 years.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Would you even perform there? Like if they offered you money? I wouldn't either.
I was thinking about that the other day. Because I hear this person goes, this person tours here. There's countries that I'm just, even if they offered me $1 million, I'm just not going there.
North Korea, we want to book you, Byron Brooks. We'll give you $5 million.
One place that I would like to go, but every time I think about going, I'm like, I don't know if I can go. Abu Dhabi, which is a very nice place, and they're very American friendly.
Is that Dubai?
Yeah, in Dubai.
Everybody wants to go there.
Let me tell you, I have asthma.
Oh,
I can't get into Dubai with my inhaler.
Why?
Because
they don't allow inhalers?
There's something in the inhaler that's illegal.
Wow.
I take a lot of stuff for allergies. The what is it? The epinephrine. That's illegal in their country, so I can't take my allergy medicine over there. So people, you got to think about things like that too.
Are they using it to make some kind of drugs or something?
Yeah. Epinephrine, they make meth out of it.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that it's used to make
meth. So you can't even bring like products over there.
Wow.
They're strict about substances. And so I'm like, man, I guess I'm never going to fucking Dubai.
Everybody wants to do everybody wants to go to Dubai.
Everybody wants to go to Dubai.
Every musician wants to perform in Dubai. Every entertainer wants to go to Dubai.
Place.
Yes.
It's a beautiful place.
Yes.
Yeah, but like I said, like I get over there. What if I have an asthma attack? I'm fucked, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like I have to go to
How common
their.
Is that for you?
Not common, but I don't like taking the chance. You know what I mean? If I can't take my medicine with me, even though I barely seldom use it, I just don't feel comfortable going. You know,
how much does anxiety play into that?
Probably a lot.
I was thinking so.
Yeah.
Is that really part of asthma, anxiety?
There's a lot of triggers to asthma. Usually it's environmental, something you've inhaled or something. And but a lot of times it is like you get, sometimes like my son has asthma. If he gets really worked up, like upset about something, it'll trigger the asthma. So I think anxiety can for sure trigger asthma.
I used to have a problem with anxiety really a lot when I lived at Myrtle Beach. I lived in a place where I paid rent like everybody else, but I didn't have my own room. I never got sleep. I worked just like crazy hours. My body would just stressed out, and I would have these anxiety attacks all the time. Or if I get like, when I was doing music promo in my early days, and you had these customers that would give you a fraudulent, like $1,000 chargeback. Oh, anxiety would like. You lose $1,000 on a chargeback of services you done did. It's like the anxiety would kick in, and it almost feel like an asthma attack. Like I lose my breath, and about to throw up and puke up and stuff. And I always felt like anxiety did play a big part of it. But I ain't gonna hold you up, man.
Hey, had a great time, my man. It's always fun
Yeah, I
talking with you.
definitely appreciate you coming in because you bring
Yeah.
this aspect that I need. This comedy and this free speech, and comedians say some things that people might say are offensive, but it's one and the same, man. Offensive speech and free speech are one and the same. I just think the
As
easy solution is don't listen, man. If you don't like what people have to say, just don't listen. You don't
yo,
like what Dave Chappelle says about transgenders, don't listen.
what you call said it best. Who were we just talking about? You said you loved him. Big guy died. What's his
Oh,
name?
Patrice
Patrice.
O'Neal? I
He
love
said it
him, yeah.
best. He was like, what may offend you, you need to not look at what's offending you and look at where it's coming from. Because comics, it's coming from a place that's trying to make you feel better about your day.
Yes. To make you
It might
enjoy
be
the day.
offensive, but it's coming from a good place. It's
Yeah.
coming from the intent that we want to make you happier.
Happy. Because that's what laughing is.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just it's
what
like
laughter is.
it's a happy moment. And that's the thing. Y'all in the business of making people happy, man.
Happier. Yeah,
That's what
that's what it comes down to. We're just
I
trying
don't
to make people
understand
happier.
this. What is it? This new sad hip hop stuff. You see
Yeah,
this?
yeah,
Like, what the hell is this shit? Who the hell wants to listen to music and feel sad?
yeah.
Like, what? Like, no, let's go with some comedy. Let's, pop some, drink a dizzle, got to promote the liquor, drink a dizzle, not too much. Smoke your
Yeah.
weed, and listen to some good comedy, man. I honestly think the world will go to shit if they start censoring comedy.
I think so too, man.
I
I think
think
so
it'll
too.
just go to shit. That's why I think comedy is the last defense. Because if you can't laugh no more, and you can't just, because people can't always enjoy themselves by themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
They need to be with people to enjoy themselves sometimes, or they need to be around other people, or they need people to make them laugh. And I know women, dudes that
Mm.
know that could make a woman laugh.
Yeah,
Y'all got an edge up.
yeah,
Y'all got an edge up on
yeah,
everybody else because women
yeah,
love a guy that can make them laugh. You
yeah.
know? So man, y'all got an edge up. But I ain't gonna hold you up. I got some other content to react to, more
Okay.
shit talking to do,
All
controversy to
right.
stir up. But anytime you want to come on here, man, if you got anything you want to promote, you know what I'm saying? You got
Definitely.
any
I
kind of
appreciate it.
show or anything, man, you're more than welcome.
I
Definitely gonna try
appreciate
to
it.
get you back on as soon
Yeah.
as possible, and plus, we friends. We work together,
Yeah. Yep.
We have a lot in common. We got a lot in common. We're both musicians,
Yep.
and we found new paths that we're passionate about
No,
that really
passionate.
the same as the realms we were in. I mean,
It really is.
it's not really
Yeah.
different,
It's no
you
difference,
know.
really. Yeah.
It's just freedom of expression. Comedy is freedom of expression. Just make people laugh, and music's a different freedom of expression.
It's all
Podcasting,
art.
freedom of expression. Yeah,
It's all
man. I
art.
mean,
Yep.
you know.
Mm.
But yeah, take it easy.
Take it easy.
Be
Support
safe
your
up
local
there.
comedy out there. Go out and see a local show.
You heard him. You up in
Yeah.
B-more? Check him out. Byron Brooks, up and coming comedian. Peace.
Peace.
What's good? What's good? I hope y'all enjoyed that. Good friend of mine. We worked together back in the days at Fazoli's Fast Food Italian in the younger days. I was a hip hop artist, rapper. He was actually a singer in a band. So we both basically just found new things that we're passionate about. And like he said, I honestly feel like this podcast, it could be something big. And, Byron feels like this comedy could be something big. So we're just going to keep grinding, keep doing what we do. And hope y'all enjoyed it. Definitely love bringing on any kind of comedians. Because, like I said, once they start censoring comedy and attacking comedy and trying to take that down, I mean, the world's just going to go to shit, man. I mean, you got to be able to laugh and enjoy yourself and have fun. And I hope y'all enjoyed yourself as much as I did. And I'm out.